My brother Tom and eldest brother Sven arrived home for summer vacation on Sunday, June 5th, 1898. I remember the date very well because just 2 weeks later, the entire town of Park City was destroyed by the worst fire in the history of Utah. My brothers had been attending the Catholic Academy for Boys in Salt Lake City. We only had a one-room schoolhouse in Aidenville where Mr. Standish taught the 1st through the 6th grades. I had just finished the 4th grade and wouldn't be going away to the academy for 2 years. Tom kept looking around when he got off the train at the depot, as if he expected Mayor Whitlock with a welcoming committee and the town band to meet him. But for my money, he was lucky the mayor wasn't there with an unwelcoming committee. And if the town band had been there, they would have been playing a funeral march and not Hail the Conquering Hero. I know this sounds like a cruel thing to say about my own brother, but Tom was different from any other kid in town because he had a great brain and a money-loving heart. And when you put them together, you get the youngest confidence man who ever lived. Tom was so smart that he'd skipped the 5th grade, so he was only 12 when he came home from the academy. But he had begun his career as a swindler at the age of 8. There wasn't a kid in town he hadn't swindled, including me. I guess that was why the only kids at the depot to meet him were me and our 5-year-old foster brother, Frankie. Tom had also made fools out of a lot of adults in town with his great brain. I think that is why the only grown-ups to meet him were Papa, Mama, my Uncle Mark, and Aunt Kathy. Aunt Bertha had remained at home to start preparing supper. She really wasn't our aunt. She had come to live with us after her husband died and was like one of the family. After the hugs, kisses, and handshakes were over, Uncle Mark patted Tom on the shoulder. "It has been mighty dull around here while you've been gone," he said. Uncle Mark should know. He was the town marshal and a deputy sheriff. He had spent a lot of time in the past telling people why he couldn't arrest Tom. The great brain always made sure he didn't break any laws when pulling off one of his swindles. Papa stared steadily at Tom. "And you had better see to it that things stay that way, TD," he said. Papa called all of us boys except Frankie by our initials. All male Fitzgeralds in our family had the same middle name of Dennis because it was a tradition. But, for my money, Papa telling Tom to keep things dull was like telling a fellow standing in a rainstorm not to get wet. We left the depot and started walking up Main Street, which, as in most Utah towns, was lined on both sides with trees planted by early Mormon pioneers. Aidenville had a population of about 2,000 Mormons, 400 Protestants, and only about 100 Catholics. We didn't have a Catholic church. Protestants and Catholics went to the community church. Papa often said that any church was better than no church at all. The only time we Catholics saw a priest was for 1 week out of the year when a Jesuit missionary priest came to town. Aidenville was one of the few towns our size that had electric lights and telephones. There were wooden sidewalks in front of the places of business. East of the railroad tracks were a couple of saloons, the Sheepman's Hotel, the livery stable, a rooming house, and a couple of stores. But most of the places of business and the residential district were west of the railroad tracks. We walked up a block out of the business district to our house. Uncle Mark and Aunt Kathy left us when we reached the gate of our white picket fence. Every time our house needed a new coat of paint, Papa would spend days deciding what color to use. I don't know why, because Mama always had the house painted white with green trim. We had a big front porch running the width of the house, and Aunt Bertha was waiting there to meet us. She was a big woman in her 60s, with hands and feet as big as a man's. She kissed Tom and Sven on the cheeks. "Supper will be ready by the time you boys wash up," she said. Tom patted his stomach. "Can't be too soon for me," he said. "Or me," Sven said.